obviously been a long time. I cannot guarantee how consistent I'm going to be with uploading new videos. I'm really sorry. I super duper miss making ASMR videos for you all. But mentally, I just haven't been in the mode for it. I've sat down and tried several times to film for you guys in the last year, and I just never liked what I was seeing, and I just couldn't upload that for you because it just didn't feel genuine, and so I just figured not uploading would be better than me uploading really forced content. So I still feel like I have to get back in the groove of things. I don't know, I lost my footing. I just feel like I've got a creative mental block when it comes to ASMR. It's probably just because I'm not super duper happy in my everyday life. My job has been stressing me out for pretty much the past year, if not longer. And I think that's a huge factor in why I just have felt burnt out completely. But anyways, I don't want to ramble too long in this video, but I just wanted to give some context as to why I've been very, very absent and not active on my channel. And I really, 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 really hope that I can hold myself to this, but I want to, bare minimum, upload at least once a month. That's only 12 times a year, and frankly, I would love to upload way, 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 way more than that. So much more than that, so much more than that. But I'm going to just set myself a bare minimum that's very easy to achieve, and hopefully that can help motivate me to kind of get back in the groove of things and build up from there. So that being said, I don't really have anything planned. I thought we could do just a cozy ASMR and chill, because we haven't done that in a long time either, right? Sort of, well, I don't know if I can call this lo-fi vibes, since I am actually using my Blue Yeti mic, but I don't usually ever wear earphones or earplugs or whatever when I do ASMR, so maybe these will stay on. I'm getting a bit of an echo and it's kind of weirding me out, so I might take these off at some point. I don't know. We're just gonna wing it, and I'm going to try to not judge myself too harshly, and sorry. It's my protein shake. And I'm gonna try to not judge myself so harshly and just upload this video as is, maybe with a little bit of editing in places that it just really needs it. So that being said, I was going to maybe read a short story for you guys, because I feel like with ASMR, especially when I'm struggling to get back into it and just struggling to find my groove, reading is always an easy option for both the ASMR artist and the listener. So yeah, I still want to continue with my Wildlife of North America series, but I feel like all of my recent videos have basically been that, and so I didn't want to just solely rely on that single material basically to create content for you. So we're still sort of staying in the realm of wildlife because y'all know me, I love nature. But we're gonna go with some creative fiction by one of my favorite authors, David Sedaris. Davidsedaris. David Sedaris. And this little collection of short stories is called Squirrel Seeks Chipmunk. Squirrel seeks Chipmunk. And you can look right here and see, you get the chipmunk right here and the squirrel, and they're going on a little dinner date. Isn't that cute? Look at they're like welling up with joy. Look at them. Look at that. That is so cute. I've read a few of the stories. You can see my little bookmark that I have right here. My little bookmark. I'll do a little bit of page ASMR for you. Maybe some page turning real quick. Do that. There's a lot of really cute illustrations. Some of them are not so cute. Like we have the vigilant rabbit. Let's see, we've got some cute storks in their nest. We have the motherless bear. I read this one and it was really funny. The squirrel and the chipmunk. I'm gonna have to, okay. Do I want to read one that I've already read? I think I do. This one, I think it's it's the second story in there. And I remember I was laying in bed and I was reading it, and I just quite literally laughed out loud because you'll see why. So dumb. I love it. Okay. So I'm gonna read this story to you guys. We're already 10 minutes in. Hopefully I can edit some of this to cut it down for you. But as usual, I'll try to add in timestamps as well, so you can hopefully, at this point, if you're listening to me, you could skip to the story if that's what you want to hear. Okay, so I'm going to read The Migrating Warblers. And you can see we've got a traditionally male yellow warbler. I don't know, do I want to soft speak or do I want to whisper? I feel like when I read, I feel like reading, I do a better job at soft spoken. I don't know. I might fluctuate back and forth. Bear with me, y'all. Okay. The migrating warblers. The yellow warbler would often claim that she was fine until she hit Brownsville. Then, wham! She'd tell her friends, I don't know if it's the air or what, but whenever we pass it on our migration, I have to stop and puke my guts out. Indeed she does, her husband would say, laughing. An hour or two's rest is all I need, but it isn't strange. Not Olmedo or Bayview or Indian Lake, but Brownsville every time. The birds she was talking to would try to sound sympathetic or, at the very least, interested. They'd say, or Brownsville, I think I have a cousin there. From the southern tip of Texas, the couple would fly over Mexico, then into Central America. My family's been wintering in Guatemala for as long as I can remember, the warbler would explain. Every year, like clockwork, here we come by the tens of thousands. But do you think any of those Spanish-speaking birds have bothered learning English? Not on your life. It's Karen Warbler. It's really horrible, her husband would say. Well, funny too, his wife would insist. Horrible and funny. Like one time I asked this little Guatemalan bird, I said, ¿Dónde estás las grandes moscas de cabeza? Here her listeners would cock their heads, confused, and more than little impressed. Wait a second, you speak that stuff? Oh, I've picked some up, the warbler would say in that offhand way of hers. I mean, really, what choice do I have? I guess I'm a pretty quick study. At least I've been told I am. She's terrific with languages, her husband would boast, and his wife would raise a wing and protest. Well, not always. In this particular case, for instance, I thought I'd asked where all the big horseflies were. A reasonable question, only instead of caballo, which is horse, I said cabeza. So really what I asked was, where are all the big head flies? Thinking that this was the end of the story, her listeners would quake with polite laughter. Head flies, oh, that's rich. But no, wait, the warbler would say. So the Guatemalan bird makes a motion for me to follow him through the thicket. I do, and there in this field are like 300 heads rotting in the afternoon sun. Each one without about 50 flies on it, and I mean huge, the size of bumblebees, every one of them. Oh my God, the listeners would say, rotting heads with flies on them? Oh, they weren't bird heads, the warbler would reassure them. These belonged to humans, or used to anyway. Flesh bubbling off, hair all tangled with bits of goo in it. I don't know what they'd done with the bodies. Burned them, maybe? Then they used the heads to make a wall. Actually, it was more like a counter, her husband would say. It was a wall if ever there was one. But what could you do? Ask everyone to stop up their ears while you and your ridiculous mate, someone who had never seen a counter except in pictures, scream at each other for half an hour? No. It was best just to breeze over it. So we see this wall, this counter be it, made of human heads, and I mean to say, this place stinks like the devil. But what I actually say is, and here, snorting with laughter, she would pass the baton to her husband. What she actually says to this small Guatemalan bird is, "The devil smells me in my place." Can you believe it? My mate, ladies and gentlemen, or as we like to call her south of the border, Satan's sexy stink pot. The listeners would crack up, and the warbler's husband and wife would enjoy the sensation of having an audience right where they wanted them. This was the reward for spending 3 months in a year in an inferior country. And when the light fell a certain way, when the laughter surged and melded into a harmonious song, it almost made up for all the hardships. The stomach flus, for instance, or the times when rather than uniting you and your mate, the strangeness of another culture made you feel more separate, more despicable and alone. Back in their element, the two warblers were a well-oiled machine. You want funny? Try getting work done down there, the husband would say, opening the door to their hilarious tales of lazy natives, of how bumbling they were, how backward and superstitious. This begged the question, why go in the first place? Why not winter in Florida like everyone else? The warblers would then explain that despite the incompetence, despite the language barriers, and despite the severed heads, Central America was, in its own way, beautiful. And cheap, they would add. Cheap, cheap, cheap. I don't know if that translates through. I don't know if that translates through me reading it versus you seeing it and reading it on the page. But it's so good. David Sedaris. That's the kind of joke that my wife's uncle and godfather would tell. He told us one day we were all sitting at the breakfast table outside on the patio, just enjoying the Canada breeze. It was really beautiful. And then Guy, his name is Guy, they're French Canadian, so his name is Guy, but you pronounce it Guy up there. Guy goes, "Oh yeah, the birds are just so intelligent, especially crows." And we're like, yeah, corvids are really intelligent. And Amelia and myself are like, you know, we're wildlife nerds, so we're like, yes, corvids are so intelligent, they're like crazy smart. And he goes, yeah, I was reading an article about them, and the crows, they would sit up on the power lines and they would take turns watching out for trouble. So one would sit up on the line, the other one would fly down into the road and eat whatever they're eating off the road, bird seed, carrion, whatever they're eating. And then if someone was driving on the road coming their way, the one up on the power line would go, car, car, car. Like caw, but car. Okay. This is really bad ASMR. I'm sorry, guys. But that's the kind of joke that this story is like, and that's my kind of humor. I love it. Okay. I don't know if this has been enjoyable or not. It's probably barely ASMR at this point, but it's a video and it's something, and like I said, I'm trying to be less hard on myself just trying to make content again. I think I've been really like camera shy on top of everything, which I think is another reason why I haven't been wanting to like upload videos. Don't ask me the psychology behind that. I don't know, other than the fact that my mental health has been. So all I can say is, if you're still here, thank you. It truly, truly, truly means a lot to me. And if you're new here and you're checking it out, thank you. Hi. Please stick around. I would love to see you around some more. And just bear with me while we navigate this rut. And I figure out what kind of ASMR I want to do moving forward. Or just video content in general. I'm not really sure at this point. But I like having this little community, and I really miss it, and I miss y'all. Okay, so let me just do a little bit, just a little bit, just a little bit, just a little bit, just a little bit of tapping, just a little bit of tapping. At least pretend that this is an ASMR video.